Abusuani kuma our channel so how say GH Protects Avenue. Podcast or secretary because make headlines na jamre na eri bi exom woni dem ne ho black semo yanko political highways no. Eja dem a enya asem koto akora na nyina ne say Zenator Ajeman Rawlings maame no wantimi obetumi enya justice afa eye nsem bi a emre bi odina the floor of parliament eka na minority section ho no NPP eto edemane no daughter of a murderer. Bunia asem no anye speaker de me no kasei speaker say omu ebe she parliament ase abe transia abobo eye Ghana man no na sansem no eye asem a wato no bo ase emiemia camera se bobo ho nyina mu degrees gugugu mani nyina ye smooth a omu bebo ahwehwe nipa property a woka sa asem no ene speaker say nya dia ode no ho beche no a enya asem koto akra na mbese say mu ransem nim abra ya jemre na abedjofo ajemre no mudi bi eksom yen
of the issues. Well, Parliament is yet to identify the MP who described Kwale Clotte MP Zenator Rawlings as the daughter of a murderer and also punish MPs accused of destroying public property during the Appointments Committee chaos. Well, this sitting of Parliament is also expected to be dominated and perhaps overshadowed by the arrest and detention of Achim Asante North MP Kwame Ohene Frimpong. And joining me in the studio is our resident Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante. Kweku, let's start with the litany of issues that are likely to be on the table in Parliament when it resumes tomorrow. We heard about somebody calling the MP for Kwale Clotte daughter of a murderer. Almost a year, the person has never owned up. What do we know?
Yes, in fact, the minority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, was on his feet speaking when that comment was made from his back. We know for a fact that it was made by a minority MP who shouted from the back that daughter of a murderer. We just have not been able to identify the specific individual, the specific member of parliament who made those comments. And at the time, it drew such an anger and a storm on the floor of the parliament, with the majority insisting that they were going to fish out that person and ensure that the rules exact the kind of punitive punishment on that person. The Speaker of Parliament also took the matter up and threatened, in fact, at the time, that if the Member of Parliament did not own up, he was going to face consequences because they were going to use all the resources at their disposal, including the footages and surveillance systems that are available in Parliament to fish out that Member of Parliament. Listen to the Speaker of Parliament on the floor, threatening that they were going to go after that MP, but it's been a year, nothing has happened.
I extend my deepest apologies to Honorable Dr. Zenator Rawlings, Member of Parliament for Clotte Kwale, Her Excellency Nana Akunedo Rawlings, the former First Lady of Ghana and widow of our late illustrious President, the family, the chiefs, and all the good people of Anglo Duko and Anglo land. No one serving their country should have to endure such indignity. Consequently, a formal investigation has been initiated to determine the identity of the member who made the comment. Subsequent to which, in line with standing orders 218 and 219, the Committee of Privileges and Immunities and Ethics and Standards shall be called upon to consider the referral and report to the House. The spirit of honor, accountability, and decorum, I advise the member responsible for the remark to, within a week, choose the path of honesty, mea culpa, and opt for a plea bargain. Taking this step would demonstrate good faith and respect for parliamentary dignity, rather than awaiting the outcome of the ongoing investigation, which will ultimately uncover the member who made the statement. I take a very serious view of the matter and failure to take advantage of this window of opportunity will lead to dire consequences if finally unraveled.
That's the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin. There I still have Kweku Asante in the studio with me. Kweku, the vetting committee early last year was characterized by chaos,
yes,
in your own words. And up to now, there was a whole committee that was set up to investigate the matter. Some MPs were suspended. They were subsequently reinstated in Parliament. What has become of that committee, really?
31st January 2025. It's a big night. MPs had been sitting on the appointment committee right from morning up until evening. It was getting to midnight, and the minority at the time said they had had enough. They did not believe that they had to vet more ministers, and so the proceedings should be put on hold until the next day. That small disagreement degenerated into something else, and a lot of distraction happened. For those of you who missed, we have a report capturing what happened and a call for that elusive search for accountability. Watch.
And as a routine sitting of Parliament's appointment committee quickly degenerated into one of the most disgraceful episodes in the history of the House. There was a simple disagreement over how many ministerial nominees were to be vetted.
The candidate nominees that we didn't agree, we have done it. Kofi Adams was not part of the arrangement. We compromised and did it. We agreed on 4. We have done 5. They should understand. What is this? Why? Look, some of them, we spend less than 30 minutes on them. We can't do proper vetting with this short time. They should understand this. Otherwise, it will not happen. It will not happen.
But instead of resolving the matter through dialogue, the MPs decided to trade blows instead. For those of you whose memory of the incident may be hazy, this is a reminder of a bit of what transpired.
Well, it's chaos. The table have been turned. It's chaos. It's chaos. It's chaos. It's chaos. The table have turned. More microphones are falling to the ground and things have been destroyed. The table has broken. The table has been broken with all that we are seeing here. It is obvious that this vetting may not happen. It is obvious that this vetting may not happen with all that is happening, with public property being destroyed.
The following day, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin responded forcefully. He announced stiff sanctions. 4 MPs identified as having played a role in the chaos were suspended.
Let there be no doubt, Parliament's credibility has been seriously undermined. Consequently, the following members are suspended from the sittings of Parliament for 2 weeks. They are 1 and 2, the 2 chief whips, in the persons of Mr. Roxon Nelson Eche, Kwame Dafiemako, and Mr. Frank Ano Dompre. 3.
We can ensure the orderly conduct of business in this House is achieved.
So I am satisfied with not just the statement but also their conduct. And I will proceed to lift the suspension of the 4 members of Parliament that I considered were involved in disorderly conduct.
A special committee was swiftly constituted to investigate the disturbances. Witnesses were invited. Testimonies were taken and a report was compiled. But that report has never been made public. 1 year later, it has still not been laid before the House, let alone debated the decision taken. And while that report gathers dust on the shelves somewhere in Parliament, MPs captured on live television vandalizing public property have walked free. There have been no prosecutions prosecutions, no surcharges, no restitution, simply no accountability. This, despite the Speaker's public vow to crack the whip. 1 year on, Parliament appears to have collectively moved on. The incident appeared to have faded from institutional memory. And in Parliament, where every disagreement now generates chaos, some fear even worse scenes may yet unfold. MPs now safe in the knowledge that no one will ever be held responsible for any misconduct. For Joy News, Kweku Asante.
And Kweku, aside from these two key issues, what else is expected when Parliament resumes?
Well, tomorrow morning, there will be a leadership press conference. Both the minority and majority leaders will address the press on what will be the substance of this meeting. The majority leader in particular will list all the bills that will be considered allies and all of that. We'll get to know that tomorrow. But these questions will not go away, and tomorrow we'll be asking them, the Speaker of Parliament himself, whenever we have the opportunity, we'll be doing so to get an understanding of what exactly Parliament is doing. But also, the matter having to do with the arrest of Abronya and co, the minority have already served notice. They want to bring in the Chief Justice. That may not happen, but they're also going to bring in the IGP, the leadership of the national security and all, because they say that the government is weaponizing free false speech laws against MP members, and they are going to demand that stops, Ken.
Quick question to reports to us from Parliament. Thank you very much. Let's go on to Zoom now, and joining me is the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Dramand. Welcome to the program. What do you make of these unresolved issues 1 year on?
Well, Carlos, I think, as I was saying earlier on your other platform, perhaps we are getting to a point where we need a unit in Parliament that will be responsible for monitoring and following up on matters such as these ones that we saw on your screen. Because often people say when a matter wants to be killed in Parliament, it goes to the Privileges Committee. These are very weighty matters, and I think Ghanaians expect some answers. So I would think that we are at a moment where Parliament needs to set up a unit that would monitor these things and report to Ghanaians on the status of some of these referrals. Particularly, Ghanaians watching on our screens and seeing MPs leading an effort to vandalize public property that I think they have a charge to protect. In terms of the daughter of the Medra comment, is so unfortunate, and I think Parliament knows the person who made this comment. And, if we don't bring this to a closure, I think we are going to see a repeat of it. But, Carlos, as we are on this, with hindsight, I think that maybe the Speaker accepting the apologies from the two leaders was perhaps maybe something that shouldn't have been done. The two whips, I think some good examples should have been set so that if we have the leaders of Parliament being held to account, it will send a very clear message that nobody in Parliament is going to be spared if we see a misdemeanor of any sort, in the future. Right. So I think, these are issues that Parliament really needs to take a look at.
Right. Dr. Dramand, this is Kenneth, by the way.
Sorry, Kenneth. Yes,
right.
Sorry.
Looking at the suspension that was given to the leaders from both sides of the House, 2 weeks suspension by Speaker Bagbin. He gave that suspension on the floor of the House. 2 days later, that suspension was lifted. There were even concerns that those suspensions, 2 weeks, were not enough. And guess what? It lasted for just 2 days. Were they enough, those punitive measures?
Well, at least for a start, because we've never seen anything like that in our Parliament. So for a start, I would think that they were punitive enough, particularly because they concern the two whips, who are very critical in the running of the affairs of our Parliament. But, like I was saying earlier, perhaps the Speaker shouldn't have accepted the apologies of the two leaders. The suspension should have been made to stand so that a clear message would have been sent to everybody on the floor that, nobody is going to be spared if you are found to be in breach of the rules that guide the work of Parliament.
You mentioned earlier that this sets a dangerous precedent to those events that happened and the subsequent punishments that were meted out. Do you see these things repeating themselves?
Well, I think we live to see, Kenneth. I mean, knowing our Parliament, I'm sure that it will not be too long for us to see some unruly behavior once again. And I believe at that time, maybe the Right Honourable Speaker will not listen to any plea. Because already before even the whistle is blown for tomorrow, we know what's going on. The tension between the minority and the judiciary. We are hearing all kinds of threats in terms of the position of the minority. So this could lead to some challenges in the House in the coming days. And I think we are all watching very closely to see whether members of Parliament and particularly the leaders will rein in their members. But in this particular instance, I think one of the leaders is involved. I mean, so it remains to be seen how things are going to play out in the coming days.
Right. Dr. Draman, don't go yet. Thankfully, I have the Majority Chief Whip, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo. He was part of those individuals who were suspended by the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin. Welcome to the program, Mr. Dafiamekpo. There are still issues that are unresolved, including the committee that was set up to investigate the chaos that ensued, which you played a major part. Why are these issues still pending unresolved?
Now, I'm confused about this question. Why is this relevant? Because a committee has been set up, a report has been laid. And so it's up to Parliament to take the report. My impression was that you were going to interview me about pending business for the next meeting, the second meeting of Parliament that starts tomorrow.
That is correct. Those are part of the conversations that we're going to have. But because you are a Majority Chief Whip and you were part of that incident that happened a year ago, that is what has necessitated that question.
I take exception to your question. I didn't play a major role. A committee has been set up. Findings of fact have been made. I wish you'd be speaking to the contents of the report. But to dangle me out as having played a major role, whether negatively or positively, I don't know what you mean. But let's be it as it is. Let me say that report is outstanding. It's been laid, it's been tabled, it's ready to be taken. If we go tomorrow and the House is ready to take it, that report can be taken. Please don't insinuate that I played a major role. Please.
I am not insinuating that you played a major role, Mr. Dafiamekpo. You were part of the MPs that were suspended. That is the premise on which I based my question.
Yes, but you know the circumstances about my suspension. I was preventing the harm from happening. That's a positive thing.
But I never said your role was negative or positive.
That the media is not focusing on my positive role.
Mr. Dafiamekpo, I never said you played a negative role, did I? I said you played a role. And trying to stop the chaos was a role.
You said I was suspended and I played a major role.
Yes.
Anyway, let's leave that. Let's move into other areas.
Okay. Right. Let's look at the business ahead of tomorrow. What are we to expect when Parliament resumes tomorrow after a lengthy break?
Okay. So we expect to receive the Maritime and Related Offences Bill from the Committee on Transport. That's because it's been laid. First reading done, and refer to the committee to bring a report for the second reading to be done. That's it for Ministry of Transport. Then the road traffic regulations It's also been referred to the subsidiary legislation for consideration and report. So we expect that to also be submitted. And then, if you recall, we have what we call ratification of the bilateral air services agreement on behalf of the Ministry of Transport. That is to ratify the agreement between Ghana and Luxembourg, Ghana and the Republic of Mauritius, Ghana and the State of Qatar, Ghana and the Republic of Guyana, Ghana and the Republic of Benin, Ghana and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Ghana and the Kingdom of United Arab Emirates. And then, as you may be aware, we don't have a statutory regime for how wastewater is disposed of by ships that dock at our port. And it's become a major environmental concern. So the government has taken steps to bring a regulatory regime. So Parliament is being urged to consider the bill called Ballast Water Management Bill 2026. And that is also to be laid and considered. Okay. Then we have a law on Ghana Shipping Tonnage Act. So the Ghana Shippers Authority has prepared the regulations on the tonnage. That is the 2026. So that is for the Ministry of Transport. If we look at the Ministry of Energy, their intention is to review the entirety of the NPA Act. So there's a new bill coming to review the gamut of the legislations underpinning the work of the NPA. That is the Honorable Eduji's place.
Right.
Then we also will be looking, Parliament is being called upon to look at the private sector participation.
We ain't some who wrote him course watching on so, Mammy, and I was so jemre. I sent us about India, don't be a dominion. Onya, Yabasan Asia.